In a real estate deal, when the seller agent is representing the buyer, so the buyer is a customer.
Yeah.
So, but when the seller signs the contract with the seller agent, the contract is that the seller agent will get certain commission and the buyer agent will get certain commission.
Correct.
So the buyer basically has no agent in this transaction, even if the seller agent is representing, but he's just representing as a customer. So then the seller should not be liable to pay the buyer agent's commission.
So just because the buyer doesn't have an agent, so who's doing the buyer's agent's work? Seller's agent, right? So the amount of work you're doing as a seller's agent goes up, right? So now if I'm doing twice the work on both sides and I'm only getting paid from one side, that's not quite fair.
Yeah, but then should not take that work which is not getting paid for. But what I'm trying to
No,
say
but then what would you do as a seller's agent? You say, no, I'm not going to accept your offer. No, you can't do that, right? Like you kind of need to.
what I'm saying is on the side of the seller, right? The seller is only liable to pay the buyer's agent commission only if there is a buyer's agent.
Well, it would be whoever is supporting the buyer. So if, let's say, the buyer comes in without an agent, somebody has to write the contract. Somebody has to explain things to them. Somebody has to be available for the appraiser to come in, for the home inspector to come in. Like the seller's agent is doing the duties of the buyer's agent, right? Because they're not going to, if there was a buyer's agent, they wouldn't be doing any of that stuff.
So that is probably in the contract already specified that if buyer
Yes.
doesn't have an agent, the seller will keep the buyer's agent commission.
No, buyer's agent, basically the commissions, we say our fee is X. Of
Yeah.
that, we'll give this much to the buyer's agent, right? And again, that can be negotiated with the seller.
That is kind of gray area, you would say, or no?
Well, no, because like the thing is though, somebody has to do that work,
Okay.
right? Because the seller won't get the deal done if nobody does the work. So if the seller is nitpicking with the seller's agent, then right, like basically nobody's going to work for free is the end of the story here, right?